Hi everyone, Miss Sola here from Learn to Grow. I hope that you guys are enjoying your weekend. I gotta make this video kind of quick because it's been raining all morning, although the sun is coming out. It's nice to have a little bit of rain though, because we've had about 5 days of sun and the garden needs a little bit of watering. Oh. See, the sun just came out a little bright. Anyways, I wanted to take you guys on the garden tour, see what's growing in the garden and how everything's doing so far. And a couple things that are in the works. So we have a couple new garden beds in the back, as well as the, I don't know if you can see the chicken coop and run. It's just about done. All right, let's take a look at what's growing in the garden. We are off to a great season so far and everything seems to be doing well. Starting here with our small strawberry patch, we initially started out with only 5 plants. Strawberries are prolific plants, and as you can see, there's a runner here. They put out these runners and they root themselves into the ground. And this is a great thing about planting strawberries is you don't have to buy new plants. You can get free plants from your strawberries. Like I said before, we started out with only 5 plants in this little patch. This patch is about, I think, 3 feet long and about 2.5 feet wide. As you can see, all these new plants, they're just everywhere. We do need to thin them out. Got lots of flowers, so it looks like we're going to get a lot of strawberries this year in this small patch. Here's our strawberry bed. There is a combination of everberries, and there's another one, except I don't remember the name, and I think the tag was moved. But anyways, lots of flowers and a little crowded. I will be thinning this out as well in the fall and moving some towards the back. We have a lot growing in this bed here. There's a whole bunch of garlic, hardneck, softneck, and elephant garlic, and it continues on towards the end of this bed and on to the next bed. But I just want to show you guys this. I've got some volunteer potatoes that popped up about a month and a half ago, and they grew, but that's okay. I don't mind having them here. I think these are the potatoes that some of them didn't sprout, or some of them I didn't harvest, and they just popped up. But what's great about having the potatoes near my leafy greens or my baby greens is that they will shade them. As the weather gets warmer and hotter, that way the leafy greens won't bolt. If they get too much sun and it gets too hot, these cool weather crops tend to bolt. So it's a great thing to have the potatoes nearby. It will shade my salad greens so I can grow them through the summer. I've got some red leaf lettuce, romaine lettuce, even some baby kale in there, mustard greens, just a combination of, I think it's mesclun mix, that's what it's called. I've also got some faba beans, and now they're sprouting everywhere. I initially only planted, I think, 2 here, but then I've got the squirrels digging them up, and so I've got 4 in this little section. I'll have to thin them out and move some of those faba beans. This is the first time I'm growing these faba beans. I heard they're really good in soups. They do grow best in the cool climate. They're a cool weather crop. I've also got some radishes planted in here as well. Since they're an early crop, they are ready to harvest within 30 days. So I'll be able to pull them out even though they're right near these other plants. We'll be harvesting this probably in about 3 weeks. It's okay to plant different types of crops all in one section just because they have different times of harvest. For instance, you won't be harvesting the potatoes until July, maybe August. And like I said, these radish will be ready to harvest in about 3 weeks. And as soon as I harvest these radishes, they'll be out of the way of the potatoes and the faba beans. And these are Chinese mustard greens here. I tried growing them last year, and this time I'm growing them next to the garlic in hopes that the garlic will repel any insect pests, but it looks like they're still getting eaten. When I grew this last year, I grew them on their own, I think next to other leafy greens, and they all just got devoured completely, and so far I think they're going to make it. Hopefully I'll be able to harvest these mustard greens as they mature. These are arugula. These are also a cool weather type crop, so they're fairly easy to grow and they're good on salads. They can also grow in partial shade. My chives are falling over here. It's been raining, but they're in full bloom. Next bed here, I've got some more garlic. We planted some spinach near the garlic. That way it'll help deter insect pests as well. Got some dwarf peas here. These are the dwarf type. They get to about 30 inches at the most. And the pea pods are, I think they're about 2 to 2.5 inches long. This is a great crop if you have a shorter growing season like I do. Here's the potato bed. We've got some red potatoes in there, Yukon Gold, and I think as well as fingerlings that my auntie gave me last summer. So they are doing really well and they need to be healed up again. And when you're healing up potatoes, especially if it's the indeterminate varieties, which put out tubers along the stems as it grows. The determinate varieties are the potatoes that produce tubers just right above the seed potatoes that you originally planted. So if you have an indeterminate potato like this one, I believe, you'll need to keep healing the potatoes up to the bottom leaves as it grows. That way it'll protect the tubers and prevent them from turning green. When the tubers or potatoes turn green, they become poisonous. These are our seedlings. I've already given away lots of tomato plants. Remember all the tomato plants that we planted? I think we had about 60. So I've got another delivery today. I'll be giving it away to my sister and her sister-in-law. It feels really great to share what you're growing and help others grow their food. Here are some herbs that I recently purchased from Fred Meyer's. They had a great sale, so I couldn't resist. And yes, I am an impulse buyer when it comes to plants, but also I'll be sharing some of these with family and friends. I've got some pineapple sage here, thyme, I think this is oregano, red rose basil, some more large leaf basil. Herbs are great to plant with your edibles because they will deter insect pests. Aromas that these herbs put out mask the scent of the plants that you're trying to protect, and so it deters the insects away. The insect pests that eat our edibles don't like the smell of these herbs because it's too strong for them. Here is a unique tomato plant. It's called the Galapagos Island tomato. It's native to the Galapagos Island off the Pacific coast of Ecuador. I won some of the seeds from A. Thatcher from his seed giveaway last year. And as you can see, these are a little different than the traditional tomato plant. They seem to be bushier with smaller ornamental leaves. They're really pretty. Comparing it to this seedling here, this is a cherry tomato. I sowed the seeds about the same time, and this Galapagos Island tomato seems to be growing laterally. They just get wider and not that tall, although I've read that they do grow between 3 to 5 feet. They bear these sweet tart orange tomatoes similar to a cherry tomato. So it's a very unique variety. I've never grown it, so I cannot wait for it to bear fruit and hope to save some seeds and share it with you guys. And here are some baby bok choy that we sowed directly into the pots. I know it looks a little crowded, but we've been eating the baby leaves and also giving them to our chicks. They love them. They're like a treat. I actually prefer to plant these in containers instead of the garden beds because the slugs don't really get to them since I've got the container and these gravel rocks. So these are doing really well here in the containers. Here are some oregano sprigs that I'm rooting. I picked these up from my children's school where I volunteer and also help with their community garden. I was transplanting a whole bunch of them and all these fell off, so I kept them in water and planted them here in the dirt, just keeping them in the shade until they root. But I think they're doing okay. I was helping them transplant all these lemon balm about a month ago. There were just an abundance of them, so they asked me to take it home. And as you can see, they're doing really well. These are great to have in your garden. It's great for repelling insect pests and also good at repelling mosquitoes. It's got a really strong lemon scent. Got some Russian kale here, as well as just a red leaf kale on the other side and some collards. I think these are the tree collards. They got up to about 5 feet and then one of them toppled over. But look at all these seed pods and all the seeds that we'll be getting. Whole bunch of seeds. So I'll be able to share these as well. We've also planted some, I believe, radish in there. I surrounded this bed with some garlic also on the border for deterring insects again. And I think I've even got some beets growing. This is the first time I'm growing beets this year, so I hope they do okay. So this bed probably only gets about 4 to 5 hours of sun. These are the blue potatoes that we planted about 5 weeks ago, so it looks like they're doing really well. And on the side, I planted some scarlet runner beans on both sides of the bed here, as well as the fire tongue balote beans, the red streak beans that are beautiful as well, and they're very good. The only bad thing is, it looks like my scarlet runners are getting eaten. I'm not sure, I think it's slugs, this would be leaf beetle larvae. But I've got some more scarlet runners planted in 2 other locations. I planted some scarlet runner beans near the flower garden bed, and those are doing really well, so maybe the flowers near it are deterring the insects. But anyways, yeah, hopefully they survive and they make it. These are raspberries. They were given to me by a friend, so Don't really have a place for them to go in yet, so I'm just going to keep them contained here in pots and hopefully move them in the fall. We do have some blackberry bushes that propagate everywhere and they're kind of hard to control. I heard these are kind of the same way they put out runners, so I'll keep them contained this year and hopefully get them in a box next year. This area is a work in progress. We're going to be putting 2 garden boxes down here. I bought these tomato plants from Rite Aid. They had a great sale a couple of weeks ago and they were only $1.99 for a 2-gallon vegetable plant. So as you can see, these are already almost ready to set up fruit. This is a sun gold. It was highly recommended by Becca from Walden Woods Garden and Farms, I believe. These produce fruit within 65 days, so it's great to have tomatoes throughout the seasons since the ones that we planted are still very young and won't produce any fruit until July, August. And also picked up some Sweet 100, so these are pretty mature plants already, so hopefully I'll get some fruit from them in about 6 weeks or so. Some more blueberry bushes. So this will go in our mini orchard. That's another section of our garden. This one has a lot of fruit. Another work in progress for us here. These are, I think, cherry tomatoes, a couple of varieties. And back here, I'm just working on tilling the soil. And I think I'll be planting some tomatoes back there where we get full sun. And I believe I planted some more scarlet runner beans over here. I've got some garlic here, as well as the Romanesco broccoli. And one last part of the garden, more potatoes. I believe these are a combination of red and yellow, maybe Yukon Gold potatoes. If you're planting Yukon Gold potatoes, I believe they are determinate potatoes, so you don't need to hill them because the tubers are produced right above the seed, just right under the soil. So, well, that's it for today, guys. My little one's home now and we're gonna get going. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video today at Learn to Grow. Let us know what you're growing. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend and happy gardening.